Geological field trips are fundamental in education of young geoscientists. Nevertheless, nowadays there are amazing tools that can cite this kind of teaching approach. For example, we can develop nowadays virtual field trips. There are two major important points to lead students in a virtual field trip. For example, we can allow them to visit remote areas that would be not accessible under normal conditions, and maybe that in these areas there are sites, geological sites, outcrops, which are really important to understand specific concepts in geosciences, in different aspects of geosciences. Otherwise, we can use virtual field trips to introduce students to a real field trip that we will carry in the field, or maybe even to rediscuss together what they have seen in the field. This is actually the goal of the project TrailGeo, sponsored by the Padova University, and that we are developing here at the Geoscience Department. Nowadays, we are organizing several field trips in the Mediterranean area, and the trip we will see today, we will carry out today together, is about the geology of the Santerno Valley, that is pretty well known among sedimentologists and stratigraphers for the outstanding exposures of turbiditic deposits and also for the evaporitic deposits developed during the Messinian salinity crisis. With our students, we will analyze different aspects of different outcrops, which has been acquired as 3D models, and we will discuss different sedimentary processes in turbiditic systems. We will observe the interaction between tectonics and sedimentation, and we will observe different features of deposits accumulated on the transition between the continental shelf and the slope. And finally, we also observe 3D models about different types of evaporitic deposits.
I think that those virtual outcrops and virtual field trips are really something that can be also incorporated inside our normal study plan, not only to enrich our knowledge on the fields, but we can also use them not only before the field trip but also after the field trip itself, because there are a lot of outcrops where we can't physically go and touch the rocks because of their exposition sometimes. For example, we have been also to a field trip where we had to see the outcrop from afar, since it was an entire wall that we couldn't physically reach. And for situations like that, also having a virtual field trip can be really important, or sometimes even if the weather doesn't allow you to see certain things, having a virtual model or a virtual twin of the outcrop itself might help to understand things better.
Yeah, I think it's a good tools to apply, especially for the students, and I impressed with this tool because I could imagine very easily both in 2D and also the 3D models, and also the professor mentioned about the 3D seismic data, which really helpful for me to reconstruct both horizontally and vertically. So I think this tool should be applicate to the other course, not only in the basins but also the other course.
For me, the virtual field trip that I witnessed today is something as a geoscientist and as a master's Earth Dynamics master student in this department, University of Padova. I find it really very intriguing, one for me because I looked at it from the perspective that the things that ordinarily I would do in the field, I actually can do with the software. Yeah, because I can actually zoom in, zoom out. Also, I can determine outcrops. A lot of things that I can do, and it's very interactive. I actually look forward to applying the skill in future projects as a geoscientist. It's really a pleasure for me.